Who is known as the father
of Black History
Month?
Martin Luther King Jr.
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King.
Baseball legend Jackie Robinson famously broke baseball's color barrier in
1947 while playing for which team?
Thinking the Brooklyn Dodgers?
Dodgers.
Dodgers, yeah.
What are the names of the first black actor and actress to win the Academy Award for Best Actor and Best Actress? I guess I'm going to go with the earliest ones. I'm going to say James Earl Jones and Hattie McDaniel.
Denzel Washington and Halle Berry.
Sidney Poitier 1963 and Halle Berry 2001.
All of these black icons have received the Presidential Medal of Freedom except
Oprah Winfrey.
Muhammad Ali. I don't think he was, I think he was like from the Middle East. Muhammad Ali was the boxer, duh. Okay, blonde moment, my bad. I'm just gonna say Sydney because I don't know her. That might be wrong, but I'm just gonna guess.
Sydney Poitier.
What is the name of
The Chicago teen who was brutally lynched in Mississippi in 1955, a tragedy that helped spur the civil rights movement. Let's say Nathaniel Wright. That sounds familiar.
Emmett Till.
The writer was a prominent figure of the Harlem Renaissance and the author of the iconic novel Their Eyes Were Watching God.
Who is she?
I'm thinking Maya Angelou. I've heard like a lot of quotes from her, but she's like the only one I know out of these, so I'm just gonna guess her.
Sister Soldier in the landmark court case
Brown versus Board of Education of 1954.
The U.S. Supreme Court ruled that
Okay, I remember this case. I had to study this case in one of my classes.
segregation in public schools was unconstitutional.
Segregation in public schools was unconstitutional.
I think it was separate but equal, and then they went to another case that they decided that no, separate but equal isn't fair. In what year did President Harry Truman sign an executive order that integrated the U.S. military? I think it's 1956.
I think it's 1947.
So, what do y'all think about Black History Month?
I feel like it's important to be known because if it wasn't for all the people before us, it wouldn't be known today.
I think it's important because it was a really big part of history, and I just feel like everyone should know all the stuff that happened and how to change from it.
There was a lot of sacrifices, and I think that it's important to be reminded of that.
I feel like this Black History Month is a time for black people to actually come out and celebrate something that relates to them, and where they could at least claim or say something like this is for me. And that's why I feel it's most important to the black people. Like they can actually say, oh, this month is my month.
This is the year of the monkey. So the animal gets an entire year. Okay?
Okay.
Monkeys get a year. Yeah. The entire ethnicity of being black gets a month. Alright? And then coming in April, we'll have Earth Day. So watch out sometime, maybe like midsummer, we'll have like a universe second or something. Basically, the more important something is, the smaller a period of time. And people are complaining that, you know, why do black people need an entire month to celebrate their heritage or to explore their heritage or to talk about it, to have an open dialogue? Yeah, I think a month is like the minimal, you know? Could be bigger.
It's not mostly known. Most people don't know about it, don't know why it came, how it came. It's kind of, you just kind of hear about it, but you don't see anything going on with it. Like there's no parades, no like people gathering and honoring people before the past. Nothing's going on. It's just you hear about it and that's it. That's all you know.
Like he said, it's just something that you sometimes hear, but when you do hear it, it's either extreme or it's like not extreme enough. You know, it's like, oh hey, did you know today's Black History Month? And then that's it. And then you go on with your lives. I feel like it should be like a little bit more like well known, but like not too much. You know what I mean? Like it's not in your face all the time, like it is with the election. Is like right now, it's like, are you Trump or you blah blah blah.
The Black history and Black involvement in the U.S. has shaped so much of how it is today.
Black History Month to me is just black people taking pride in the achievements they've made, to me, and I think that's what they celebrate.
Not everybody's gonna die for their own people, you know what I'm saying? Like, not everybody, like me, no. See, like I can't even take a bullet for nobody, bro. Because I came here by myself, I live by myself, you know. But for those people that did take a bullet for, our people like they are the heroes. I'm not the hero. I'm here to like live to their own expectancy, like what they wanted for us to have, to see black, white, Asians, everybody come together, you know.
I don't know, it seems like we don't have our priorities in order, because when you consider the minutia, the BS that we do every single day, that we commit ourselves to, video games and movies, and, you know, the media hero worship, just entertainers, you know, we have an entire season for a sport, for a game. We can't give a people a month. So if there's any naysayers about, if you are interviewing people and you get any naysayers about Black History Month, tell them to put it in context, put it in perspective. That's it.
You know, having Black History Month to kind of say like, hey, kind of, it's always kind of a reminder, and you know, it brings up a conversation, you know, for people that, you know, are not really, you know, don't really know a lot about Black culture and certain aspects in Black history. So, you know, I think it's a great thing. You know, my family's from Nigeria, so I didn't really know actually a lot about Black history here. So then this kind of got the ball rolling. Like, oh, you know, I didn't know about George, you know, the guy who created peanut butter. His name's Carver, right?
George Washington Carver.
George Washington Carver, yeah. You know, W.E. Du Bois, Martin Luther King. You know, I didn't know Martin Luther King was an Alpha Phi Alpha. You know, there's this other. That's a Black fraternity. I digress. But you know, there's a lot of things that, you know, if you really dive in and because of this month, it kind of gets conversation going. It's like, oh, you want to learn more, and it brings up stuff that people may gloss over. You know, they don't really talk about one side of slavery. They don't really talk about, you know, the other people that were involved in the civil rights movement besides Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and stuff like that. So I feel like it's necessary.
I think it's very important to appreciate the diversity in our campus and in our community, and part of that is celebrating things like Black History Month. It's nice to set aside 1 month, to be set aside 1 month explicitly, but really I think it doesn't do any service if we only think about diversity for 1 month out of the year. Thinking about diversity should be a year-round experience.
Obviously, I am not Black, and I don't have that background behind me to really appreciate what it really means. But when I think of Black History Month, I think of it more as a tribute, and it's kind of a moment to think back on all those people. And obviously different for you, but when I was in elementary school, when Black History Month came along, we actually did do a bunch of activities. Maybe it just varies from school to school, and maybe it actually should be something that is spread across until, you know, that knowledge is general. You know, and there are a lot of people out there, but I think with the way internet and media is today, and people not really getting away with anything, I think the conversation about race and racism in America is kind of a constant deal, kind of the same way that gender equality is a constant conversation. The economy is a constant conversation because everyone's connected on all bits. Like when Donald Trump said, "I've always been good with the blacks," I mean, everyone was like, that was horrible, you know, and that was a terrible thing to do. And it's easy to address these issues. Well, not easy to address these issues, but it's easy to bring up the discussion nowadays. And I think there would almost be an oversaturation if you made literally all of Black History Month in the public's eye about Black history. If, you know, every news story started with this day in Black history. Actually, that would be good. If it was like a short little minute thing, this day in Black history, that'd actually be kind of cool. But like, if the entire newscast was about what's going on, I think there would almost be a resentment towards it, and create oversaturation where more people would care less. They would try to ignore it. And I think it's good the way we have it, but also at the same time, I agree, education-wise, it should definitely be more pronounced.
Yeah, I feel like there should be more about it. I feel like there more needs to be kind of put out there. Not necessarily like, I don't think there should be like, like a TV special.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be awesome, all the black movies. Go watch Friday, by the way. Boys in the Hood. Classic.
My neck and my back.
But I digress. But no, it should be more than that. It shouldn't be just like, on BET or anything. It should be more like, there should be like, more like in schools and stuff, they should talk about black history. Because when I went to private schools and public schools, they rarely talked about it. The only person I knew from black history was Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King, and then Barack Obama. So it's just like, there's so many other people that shaped this country they need to address and give credit where it's due.